to Mr. Dana Rohrabacher of California.
Well, here we are. Wherever you go, there you are. Let me just note that we just keep hearing sinister words after sinister words, especially this last thing. Oh, how sinister it is that he just showed the top of his passport. Give me a break. Come on. And also we got, instead of a sinister report from your question to the ambassador, no, it's not uncommon for people to meet with foreign ambassadors and foreign diplomats. And how sinister is it that people met with the Russian ambassador? I'm sure that if they were going to plan something really rotten about the United States, they would go to the ambassador, the Russian ambassador, rather than some political operatives that they have running all over the place. This has reached the absurd level of attacks. And let us note that in order to get Russia, what we are now is destabilizing our own democratic system here with that kind of nonsense. I will have to say that during the Cold War, I want to remind everybody, I worked not only with President Reagan, but my entire life was dedicated to defeating communism. I felt really great when Ronald Reagan helped us establish peace and the elimination of communism from Russia. We are now dealing with a national power. And it is a big power in the world. It's no longer being motivated by communist ideology that has it trying to overthrow democratic governments and replace them with atheistic communist dictatorships. And you got to expect Russia, and I agreed, they're being run by tough guys, sort of like Mayor Daley in Chicago is transported over to Russia. Oh, you love Mayor Daley, do you? Okay. I don't. I thought Mayor Daley was a tough guy who beat demonstrators up and did not represent anything what America was all about. But he was not some vicious dictator. He had been elected by his people, and we would try to unelect him as well. What's happening in Russia, of course, is you have a country watching out for its national interests. Mr. Chairman, I would have preferred to have at least one person on this panel, like perhaps former Ambassador Matlock, who could have balanced it off a little bit on some of these questions. And instead what we have is, and again, an unrelenting hostility towards Russia that's going to lead us to war, if we don't watch out. And I don't know who wants war in this country, but I was very happy when Ronald Reagan ended the Cold War by reaching out to Russia. And they ended up discarding their Marxist-Leninist baloney that had threatened the world for so long. Let me ask our former president there of Estonia, could you give me, well, first of all, the Russian cyber attacks, were there any demands on Estonia that you didn't meet, that somebody, big guys demanding something, you say, no, we're not going to do that, and then they retaliated by trying to hurt you?
Well, they demanded that we not remove this statue, which people were against having, and that's the result.
Okay, so that's it. There was a demand, and the Russians acted like bullies, and we're going to get what they had their way with that cyber attack. Okay, second question. Could you give me some examples of the military aggression that your country has suffered from Russia in the last 10 years?
Well, probably the most prominent example is the kidnapping of
Right.
the equivalent of our FBI, who was investigating a massive cross-border cigarette smuggling operation,
Right.
which could not take place without the connivance of the FSB, since they managed the border.
So you had a corrupt situation of corruption at the border. One of your border guards disappeared. I mean, military aggression. Has there been any cross-border at all of military action on the part of the Russians in Estonia?
Well, we have constant violations of our border by military jets. That's
Right.
one thing, and that's consistent, but has massively increased in the last 4 years.
I went to the Baltics about 3 years ago, after we hear story after story after story of Russian military aggression in the Baltics. I'm sure all of you have heard that slogan before. Not one report of actual military aggression. And here we are sending our tanks up there, having B-52 mock raids on Russia over Estonia toward the Soviet capital in the name of stopping Soviet military aggression that never existed. This has got to stop, or we're going to end up in war. We've got to let's try to have a little balanced view of what's going on here. Mr. Chairman, I would ask 15 seconds more from my colleagues, just as a look. The United States, we have engaged in some of these activities. We have. Do you remember the Phoenix program in Vietnam? I remember the Phoenix program. I supported the Phoenix program. We murdered hundreds of local officials. How about Allende? How about Diem? How about any number of people during the Cold War that we assassinated? Okay, that's wrong. It's wrong to do that.
The gentleman's time
but
has
please
expired.
do not say that Russia is the only country that commits these kind of crimes.
It's time to go to Mr.